What's up, guys? Welcome to the Redzone Podcast, the hottest podcast on YouTube. Just remember, whenever you're close to the end zone, you're in the red zone. I'm your host, Griffin Batt. I'm here with the boys. Let's talk sports.
You know there ain't nothing like rooting for your team. I'll always be a big fan, ain't trying to be mean. But I'll tell you like it is when you did wrong, just like both along. We're gonna get it done right here in the red zone.
All right, we got a huge show coming to you guys today. We got Conor Clemmons coming on. We have our insider. And now let's bring on Conor Clemmons. Without further ado, welcoming to the show, future Grammy Award winner, huge Clemson fan, country music star, made the fire intro you guys just listened to, none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Conor Clemmons.
What's up, guys?
Conor! What's up?
What's up, fellas?
How you doing today?
So doing good. How are you?
We're doing well. Yes.
Good.
Pretty
Dude,
good.
we love that intro. Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Oh, no worries. I'm glad you guys like it.
We appreciate the heck out of you today.
Great.
So,
Yeah,
thanks
for
for
sure.
coming on. We got a few questions,
Let's
and
go.
so we're going to ask you a few questions. Dane, you want to take it off?
All right, Connor. So you're making your name in the country music world, but obviously this is a sports podcast. So my question to you is, what is your favorite memory as a sports fan?
Ooh. Okay. So I've got a couple, but probably being in Tampa for the national championship win. It's quite a story. It's not a game I necessarily was supposed to be at, but where there's a will, there's a way. And so I was in for the game. I was in with one of my good buddies, Thomas, and we sat in about 4 different places for that game. And somehow, some way, we ended up on the 10-yard line, 3 seats from the field, right in the corner where Hunter caught the game-winning touchdown. And
Wow.
yeah, the entire game was awesome. Being in Tampa was awesome. But I tell you what, like being right there in that corner, there's video of me like losing my mind. It was it's for sure one of my greatest memories as far as a college football fan.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And I bet it makes it even more special because you have known Hunter so long.
Who's Hunter? Yeah, I have. Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I had been in Phoenix for the game the year before, so I think it was also a little special just to have seen their hard work put them in a position to make it that far. And then the unfortunate part of, not winning that game, but it gave them the fire and the passion for sure to come back the next year. So be able to see those 2 games back to back and experience it in a completely different way for sure is like, it gives you a full spectrum of the program, seeing them win and then seeing them lose.
For sure.
Awesome.
Max?
So I'm going to bring it back towards the music industry. And my question is, what is the best thing about it? What is the best thing? Why do you love your job so much? I mean,
dude, it's very, very similar to being an athlete in a lot of ways because it's a job that like you have to choose to do, but at the same time it doesn't happen overnight. You got to be willing to put in the time and the effort, and you got to win some, you got to lose some, and so I've been grinding at this for a really long time, and I've literally traveled all over the world. I've seen things that I probably will never see again. It was a one and done experience, but to be able to say that I did it is super special. And it's not easy. There's been a lot of struggles and a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but at the end of the day, like, you keep grinding because it is what you're passionate about. It is what you love. And so for me to be able to travel this past year and a half, I got signed a year and a half ago. I've been on tour right at a year and a half. And I've been basically all over the country, playing colleges and military bases, and then opening for large artists. And man, just to be able to like meet people in different states and to have opportunities where I get to like speak and just kind of share my story is kind of, I don't know, there's something inspiring about being inspired. And I think that's probably what I take back the most, is that I chose to do this. And at the end of the day, like, I'm living out a dream every day, and it'll never change, no matter like how old I get. Like, I'm still living my dream every day. And, you know, I've got friends that have jobs that they're miserable in, but they feel like they have to do it because that's their only option. I have friends that have no idea what they want to do in life. And so for me, it's like, I knew what I wanted to do. I was willing to put in the hard work to do it. And right now I'm in a season of like it paying off.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That is awesome.
I got a question, Connor. Who was your favorite country music star growing up as a kid?
Garth Brooks.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, for sure. Hands down. So like there comes that point in life where you get a job and like you kind of start making your own money, even if it's like mowing grass, you know. And so I was 15 when I got my first job, and I spent a lot of the money that I made because I had nothing to pay for. But Garth Brooks was coming to the Charlotte Coliseum. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he was coming to the Charlotte Coliseum, and I wanted to go, and one of my best friends wanted to go, but my mom was like, well, you got a job. So I was like, all right, cool. So I freaking worked and saved to buy that ticket, and it changed my life, honestly. Like, I knew that I wanted to sing, but I wasn't like sure what it was supposed to look like. And seeing Garth Brooks, mind you, my ticket was at literally the top of the arena. I think I was third row from the top. I could touch the ceiling. But it was as if I was on the front row. Like, the show that he put on was incredible, and I knew all of his songs, and it was eye-opening to me that like that's what I want to do. Like, that is the moment. And so yeah, I've seen him 4 times now, twice in 1 year, the exact same show. I don't even like going to see a movie that I've seen 10 years ago. So he's incredible. He's a true showman. He's a great entertainer, but at the same time, like, he treats his people well. He gives back. And so he uses his platform for more than just like making music, which for me means a lot, because it's an example of like what I want to do. I don't want to just, you know, be a musician and make money. Like, I want to be able to do something with what it is that I'm doing in life and give back and change lives.
So what's your favorite Garth Brooks song?
Oh, so I don't know. I don't even know if Clay knows this, but so I don't do favorites. It's like, yeah, it's not a thing.
Friends in low places.
So because there are too many, you know, it's like when I go out to eat and people are like, oh, what's your favorite kind of food? I don't have favorites. If you ask me like, what's my favorite movie? No idea. But like, I know good ones. So like I don't know if Garth Brooks has a bad song. So yeah, I couldn't pick one.
Do you know every one of his songs?
I know just about every one of his songs. There's some, maybe there might be like 2 or 3 that I know, but like I wouldn't know every word to. But yeah, just about.
Wow.
Crazy.
Well, I guess I'll ask my question. Other than like songs that you have written, what would be your go-to song to sing that you feel most comfortable about?
Song other than a song that I've written, my go-to. Well, it should be Wagon Wheel at this point. As many times as your dad has asked me to sing it, and I still refuse to learn the words to it. But gosh, I don't know. So again, this kind of falls into favorite category.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But so like my career has gone like this. I graduated high school and I moved to New York to go to college. I was vocal performance major at NYU. I left NYU and did 2 Broadway shows. And then after that, I left and worked for a cruise line for 2 years, traveled all over. And then I ended up back in the Carolinas, and I sang in the Carolina Opry in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for 6 years. And then I moved to Nashville. And so I've been singing songs for years. And like each one of those experiences, like, I mean, I've sang everything from like Queen to Prince to Michael Jackson to Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, like Nat King Cole. I mean, every genre of music I've sang. And so for me to pick like a go-to, it's so hard. You guys are asking hard questions.
That's awesome.
I don't know.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good, dude.
I saw a video a couple months ago that went very viral, and it was all over Sports Center and ESPN and all these things. Please explain what happened at Topgolf that night.
Yeah.
Also,
shout out to Topgolf. I started working for them. Actually, funny story. When I was in Tampa, I went to Topgolf for the first time.
Me too.
And for real, that was your first time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, dude, this thing is incredible. I was like, if one ever opened in Nashville, I'm working there for sure. Like, I know I'll make bank. And so they ended up putting one here. I got hired. And they've been really, really good to me. They've worked with my tour schedule. And I was just kind of there just because I love the environment. I love the company and the people. But that one night, so I was what's called a team lead, which is an assistant manager of the venue. And Jeremy came in. I had no idea who he was. All I knew is that the bays in the area that he was sitting in, like, knew who he was and were like taking pictures. So that's my first thing is like, I have to make sure that anybody who's on like any sort of a like high profile celebrity status at least feels comfortable, because we're in Nashville and a lot of the country artists come in all the time and like people want to like run up and bother them and whatnot. So I just kept checking on him, and I was like, making sure he was good. And then I noticed that like the balls were flying out of the venue, which is, I mean, it's a major no-no, but at the end of the day too, I worked there at that time for 2 years and I'd never seen it happen. So I was like, all right, I'll give him a pass. Well, like 15 balls in, I was like, all right, you've had your pass. So I just went over and I was like, hey, and he knew who I was at this point. And I said it to him. And then his friends that were there just started dying laughing. And they were like, will you please do that again so we can record it? And I was like, sure. And so I walked over again, they recorded it, and I was like, I just need the balls to stay inside of the net. And honestly, the funny thing is that they came in like October, November, and then Jeremy posted the video for the very first time on like his page in like late January. And then randomly, Sports Center picked it up in I don't know, y'all, with quarantine and COVID-19, I don't even know what day it is. I don't even know what month it is. But they just recently picked it up. So I woke up that morning and I thought somebody had died. I legitimately thought somebody had died because I'm in Central Time. So I woke up at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, which was East Coast. And they posted it at midnight. So, East Coast, it was 10:30, 11. And it was everywhere. So I just made a TikTok, and
I saw it. That was
awesome.
Some
people call you the CEO of Never.
Of Never. Yeah. I don't even know what that means. TikTok is it's like a foreign language to me. I don't understand it. But you're pretty good at it, Clay.
I try.
And Cade and Kate is also TikTok famous.
Bro,
Not
y'all
quite.
gotta
Not
follow each
quite.
other on TikTok.
20,000
You're TikTok famous too?
20,000
Not
views
quite.
on the last video, right?
What are you doing?
I just make dumb videos.
I think that is literally what TikTok is about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Awesome.
All right, I think I have another question for you. You said you live in Nashville, obviously a breeding ground for country music. Do you think that's helped your career? Like, how has that helped you in the music scene?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when I moved to Nashville, it was very, very intentional. I actually had only been to Nashville once in my entire life, and it was for like a day and a half. And it was the year before I moved here. So long story short, I told you I sang in the Carolina Opry in Myrtle Beach. I actually ended up tearing my ACL while I was in that show. So I came out of the show, had surgery. While I was in surgery, they actually assessed while I was in the process of getting ready for surgery, they assessed my other knee and had realized that I'd torn the meniscal cartilage in that knee, but I didn't tear the ACL. So I had 2 surgeries back to back in the midst of 3 weeks. So I was down for the count, out. I was on crutches for like 8 weeks. It was bad. And so I had a full year off from performing, and just as a faith-based person and a believer, it was perfect God time for me just to reassess kind of, like where I was at in life, what I wanted to do, what I felt like God wanted me to do, where I needed to be, what I had not achieved, things that I dreamed but kind of had given up on. And like being an artist was like for sure the number one and at the top. Just because I'd been singing for a really long time, but I had never done my own thing. I'd always been doing what I was being told to do. I was in a show or on a tour. And so I came to Nashville with a buddy. We were here for a day and a half, and I was like, I'm moving. That's what I'm gonna do. And so it was very, very intentional. And I moved here in 2013, October 2013. And I recorded and released my EP in 2016. It charted on iTunes on the country chart.
Go check it out.
Oh, yeah. It's called Left of It's called Left of Center. Yeah, it charted at number 14 on the iTunes country charts. And for me, it was just like, it was like a validation of like God kind of like pat me on the back and being like, thank you for trusting me. Just because I never in a million years would have ever thought, first of all, that I'd be writing and producing and releasing my own music. And secondly, that anybody would care. And so for me to like go from like small town, people know me guy in South Carolina to a recording artist who's on tour and playing shows all over the country, like it's a dream come true. And so Nashville has changed my life for the best. Obviously, we're in a season right now that is shifting everyone's perspective on everything from sports to healthcare professionals to events and music. My tour is completely gone. So I was supposed to be on tour all the spring into the beginning of the summer, release new music at the end of the summer, and then go back out on tour in the fall. And so like, obviously, yeah, just like everybody else, all my shows are canceled. And, but at the end of the day, I think that like, it's kind of like with sports when we were talking earlier, just because something happens, just because you don't necessarily win the game, just because you have some sort of a setback doesn't mean that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. It just means that you need to do it differently. And so, this platform right here, Zoom alone, I've had Zoom sessions with colleges. I've played shows online. And so it's about why you're doing it and not who you're trying to be because you're doing it. And so I'm doing it just because I love it. And it's because of that, I'm not giving up. Things will look better. They might look different, but the opportunities will still present themselves and be there. So you got to keep rolling. You got to hustle and grind.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, we appreciate the heck out of you. For anyone watching, you can go follow Connor on Twitter and Instagram. It's all the same. On Twitter, it's Conor Clemmons. And then on Instagram, it's Connor E. Clemmons, right?
Nope. They're all the same across all platforms. Conor Clemmons. Yeah, Facebook, Instagram,
We'll
Twitter.
drop his album in the description below.
You want to give us a little preview, a sneak peek of a song?
Of a new song?
Or maybe an old song. I don't know, anything.
Yeah, I'll do it. So we just wrote one. It's probably my most favorite song that I've ever written, and only 2 people have heard it. So, Clay.
Oh, we'd be in good company.
And it's very, very reflective of this season that we're in. And it's called "Make It Good." And I'll do the first verse and chorus for you guys so you can hear it.
Awesome.
By the way, it is 10:50 in the morning in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm having my first cup of coffee and have had no singing, so no judgment. Yeah. How's it go? Somewhere on the 3rd floor, a baby cries that's never been heard before. It wasn't just a summer day. It was the day that their lives changed. They were told it wouldn't work. If there's one thing they've learned, just trust the timing of the storm. 'Cause life never looks like you think it should. The shift of the wind never felt so good. The sky brings rain that soaks the wood of that old front porch where Papa stood, driving down the gravel road till it ends, looking back at the spot where it all began. Life throws curves and it ends so fast. Love's the only thing that'll ever last. But remember, God will take anything and make it good.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
Hey guys.
That was awesome.
That was
great.
incredible.
Let's go.
Anytime. Hey, I appreciate you guys for having me on and
For sure.
and starting this platform and giving me the opportunity to be a part of it with the theme song. I really do appreciate it. My guys appreciate it. We gave us something to do during quarantine, so thank you. And we appreciate the heck out of y'all.
Well, thank you. We appreciate the heck out of you. And we'll have to bring you on again for sure.
Bro, anytime.
Awesome.
All right,
Awesome.
y'all be good. Go Tigers.
Thank you.
Sir, go Tigers.
Wow.
What a great
Yeah.
guest.
That was a great guest. Just for the record, Top It Off is my favorite. Is my favorite
Sneak
song.
peek of a new song. How about that?
Yeah, that was
awesome.
big.
For real.
Well, I think we should transition right into Body Armor because they are the best sports drink. Body Armor is a great sports drink for great sports performance. In this one, I have here the light, only 20 calories. In the one Clay and Max and Kate are drinking, 120 calories. 10% coconut water, 1 drink. You will be hydrated for the rest of the day. All the boys at Body Armor, all the boys at Redzone drink Body Armor, so you should too. Go to your local supermarket and pick you up some Body Armor. Body Armor is a superior sports drink. Boom!
Body Armor.
All right. Coming up soon, we're going to have our high school league basketball player insider, Mason Johnston, come on. He is a small forward at Christ Church. And he has guarded the famous Bryce McGowan's. It's a big, big one. But for now, we're going to jump right into some Jordan documentary talk. Most of us have seen the Jordan doc, and let's give our opinions on it. Some of our favorite moments. And do you think Jordan is better than LeBron? Dane?
Well, after watching The Last Dance, it's really interesting to see how Jordan kind of like functions. He's just stone cold killer. And, it's called The Last Dance. I was a little disappointed. I mean, I guess it's a good thing, but it was just kind of a synopsis of his whole career. It didn't give as much insight to the last season as I would have hoped, but it was still an awesome watch. Definitely interesting.
Yeah.
And no, he is
Yeah, I
not
think it
better
was
than LeBron.
I think it was very interesting to see because, like, even in the early part of his career, Jordan was just known as a guy who could put up big numbers and win the scoring title, but he couldn't win a playoff series. And then throughout the rest of his career is the complete opposite. He was known as the guy who's always going to win the playoff series and always going to win the title. But I really just found it the most interesting just to see how competitive he was and even how hard he was on his teammates. And I mean, I love Michael Jordan, but I just have to put LeBron just ahead of him. But this documentary was awesome, and I cannot wait to see Kobe's documentary, LeBron's documentary. Just bring them all. I could watch them.
Lonzo's documentary.
Yes, sir. We already have ball in the family, so I don't know if they really need a documentary on that.
All right, well, our high school basketball insider is in the waiting room here.
Well, without further ado,
Let's ask him what he thinks about the
yeah,
documentary.
bring him on, Dane.
Well, I admitted him, but it seems like he left, so.
Wow.
Oh,
as
here's
he's
him.
joining.
Mason, how we doing today?
What's going on?
Nothing much.
What's up,
Welcome to the
guys?
show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We were just talking about The Last Dance, and we want to get your opinion on it.
I think it's really well done. I thought that it was interesting. Like, there's so many different aspects. Like, it's talking mainly about that last season, but then it's showing everything before. Like, it goes all. I mean, it gives everybody's backstory. It's not solely about Jordan. It doesn't like overdo it, but I mean, I loved it.
Yeah, sure. It was a great documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you are a high school league insider, and so we have a few questions for you. Who will be the next great basketball player in the upstate? You know, like Bryce McGowan's, AJ Oliver, Bryce McGowan's, like the next great to come through our high school league.
So, you mean upstate or all of South Carolina?
Upstate.
Okay, so I don't really. It's hard to. There's been a surge.
Bryce
What'd you
McGowan is like an American great. So like, I know this. I'm wearing his merch, but like, ranked the 49th player in the country. So whatever. Just continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so I think I don't know if you consider Dorman upstate, but it's somewhat in the upstate. But
Yeah, sure.
TJ Hall is someone I think is going to thrive at Clemson.
Really?
There's been a surge of guys up in. There's Bryce, John Butler, Ike Cornish, Legacy, Perry Smith at Legacy, a whole bunch of guys. Malden's starting to come out with some guys who are going to be solid players, mid-major level.
Greenville's got some guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Greenville. Those 5A schools are really starting to just get some real players.
Yeah.
I know aside from the upstate, there's guys down on the coast and in Columbia that, I mean, there's 7 or 8 guys that are going to play Power 5 schools now in South Carolina where you'd see 3, maybe 4.
Yeah. Dang.
Well, I got a question for you, Mason.
Mhm.
So recently we've seen multiple high school players say that they're just going straight to the G League instead of college. And what do you think about this? And do you think this could be a trend moving forward?
So I think – all right, yeah. So I think this is definitely going to be a trend. I'm not sure if you're going to see guys like Marjan don't know how to say his last name. It's like Beach Up. He's top 60 player. He goes to Joy Basketball Charter School in Arizona. He's going pro, but he's not. It's not like he's Jalen Green, you know.
Right.
Then you got. I wonder if you'll see those guys who aren't necessarily 5 stars that are going to have offers to go there. And if that happens, a guy who would be going to Duke is going to the league, and then a guy who might not have that Duke off, you're just gonna see a wave of these guys go to higher schools than they originally would have been because there's this higher factor.
At some points, certain players are going to have to value the college education and college experience.
Oh yeah, I think
Even if it's just for 1 year.
Mhm. I was curious whether any of the pro stuff, like that movement, was triggered by any of the coronavirus stuff, whether guys were like, if this, for whatever reason, I can't play next season, they don't want to spend 2 years not making any money, assuming they're not getting paid by colleges, but then they're going to the league and they have, it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
What about the guys who go overseas, like LaMelo, RJ Hampton?
Mhm.
Think that'll be a big thing coming up?
Yeah, I think as the NBA shows that it's a lot more international, especially I've heard they're thinking about adding teams internationally to play in the league. I think that's definitely going to be really popular. I know Braden Moss had an offer to go play in some small school somewhere in like Lithuania, but like you're getting money. Why would you pass up?
Well, he is NBA bound, so I don't. Maybe.
Yeah,
Well, we have some breaking news from your school. The breaking news. I don't know if you've heard about this. It just came out. I got the update a little bit ago. 13 schools in South Carolina are filing a lawsuit against the high school league.
Yeah.
You read about this. Christchurch is one of those schools. Do you have any information about what is going on there?
So what's going on with that is this has been a rule that they've been trying to implement for a couple months now, and they voted on it. They wanted it. And then, a lot of these transfers come into these charter schools and these private schools, and that's a big way that they stay, ahead of everybody else. What's going to happen is they're going to try the lawsuit. They're going to try to get the judge to say, hold off on the rule until we go to trial and figure this out, which could take years, so that you're not and then once that gets voted on, then it's a done deal. But they're trying to make it so it's not right now.
Okay.
What's the rule?
To help the kids' futures or careers, or what is the driving factor of holding that decision off?
Yeah. So I'm not really sure. I think in some way it violates your right to do whatever. I don't know really what either side is. I know that. It's not great. We played great collegiate. They had 6 new seniors this year. That's from. You.
Technical difficulties here.
Mason.
What's up?
Mason, so I'm going to talk a little bit about your basketball game. You're 6'7", stretch 4, can handle the rock. What would you say how would you describe your game, classify your game?
I feel like, I'm more of a do-it-all kind of guy. I like to think of myself as more value. Everybody's skillful, but I try to, bring as much value to his team as possible.
Yeah. Well, you certainly did that when the Crush won the Upstate AAU championship this spring before Corona ruined our season. Go ahead,
Griff,
Clay.
don't mean to cut you off, but
No.
Griffin has been working out a lot over Corona, and he's starting to develop a 3-point shot. And he was wondering if he could beat you one-on-one now, Mason.
Well, I mean, he's always been a sharpshooter. I mean, we saw that in the tournament. He was 4 or 5 threes a game. I mean, it's absurd. He's one of the sole reasons we won that tournament. I don't know if I could take him.
Well, Bryce,
he did lock up Bryce McGowan.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working out a lot with Bryce, and he's been helping my game a lot.
Oh, yeah, you've been in the lab?
Yeah.
Dane?
I got nothing, to be honest. I don't really not a huge high school South Carolina.
You were a
basketball
team
guy.
manager.
Yeah, Dan, you were a high school Daniel team manager.
I was, yeah, that's true.
Dane, who do you think is the best point guard in the state of South Carolina?
Bobby Taylor, the GOAT.
That's
I'm sure Mason agrees.
If Bobby gets a couple inches, he's going to be lethal.
Oh, yeah, dude. Bobby.
He already is lethal, bro. What you trying to say?
Yeah, what you trying to say, Clay?
He
What
is.
you trying to say, Clay?
Well, we appreciate you for coming on the show today, Mason.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir.
Bryce decommits from from Florida State and comes to Clemson. That'll be a big moment in all of our lives. But
Oh, yeah.
we appreciate you, and
Yeah.
we will we'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
There you go.
All right, there we go.
All right, great show, boys. And I guess we're gonna wrap it up here today. Thanks for watching, guys. Episode 5 coming out later this week. Big show next time, and from all the boys at the Redzone. Oh, Boston Miller. I was told to throw this in from my executive. Boston Miller chose to sleep during this podcast. So,
Yeah.
from everyone at the Redzone, see you later, guys.
There you go.